water deionizers and distillation process. Alright, so I hope children now you know how much important air and water is for us, and yes, we need to keep it pure at all time because they are the most important requirements for our survival. Okay. So, let us do a quick recap. We can see that air is present everywhere, although we cannot see it, we cannot smell it, but we can feel the presence of air all around us. Nitrogen, oxygen, they are the most abundant gas which are found in the atmosphere. So, we all know Deccan Science, Book 5, Chapter 14, Moon, Satellites and Eclipses. Hello children, how are you? I hope you all are doing well and studying well. So children, now that we have spoken about ourselves, we have spoken about plants, we have spoken about animals, we have spoken about the activities of humans, we have spoken about the first aid, we have spoken about so many different things, isn't it? Now let's go into a different world. Yes, let's talk about the space. Let's talk about the moon. Let's talk about the satellites and also the eclipses in this chapter. Alright, so we're going to talk about the satellites, the moon, the phases of the moon, eclipses and artificial satellites in this chapter. Okay, so before we start, we know that certain planets, they have their own satellites. The moon that we see at night, it is the satellite of the earth. And these satellites, they actually revolve around the planets, okay, and they get light and heat from the sun. So, they are also a very important part of the solar system. Okay. So, experimental learning, you have to write the names of each planet of the solar system. Okay. Think about it and write from the distance from the sun, okay, based on that which planets start. So, satellites, they are nothing but heavenly bodies that revolve around their own planet. So, they are revolving around their own planet, like moon, okay, it revolves around earth, okay, which is its planet. So, moon is the planet of earth. Likewise, every planet have their own moons and moon is the satellite of earth. Okay. Now, the solar system, it has 8 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Among them, some planets like Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, they have their satellites. Okay. The planets like Mercury and Venus, they do not have any satellites of their own. They do not have any moons, okay, because perhaps they are very close to the sun, and that is the reason why they do not have their own satellite. Now, these planets, okay, they revolve around their own planets only. Alright, these satellites which are there, the other ones, okay, the other planets that have their satellites, okay, those satellites, they revolve around their own planet, okay, like the moon, that is, Earth has one moon, okay, that is the satellite of Earth, it revolves around the Earth, okay. The moon, it is the satellite of the planet Earth, and you will see this in this picture out here. Moon is orbiting around the Earth. Now, moon, it is a natural object. It is the satellite of the Earth and it revolves around the Earth. Moon, it is nothing but it is mostly made up of rocks. The surface of the moon is not plain. It is dry, it is dusty, it is covered with mountains and it is covered with craters. Craters, they are huge ditches that were formed because meteorites, okay, they crashed on the moon's surface. Okay. So, they were like ditches or pits, we can say that because of the meteorites that crashed on the moon's surface. Now, moon, it is about quarter the size of the earth. So, earth is huge and moon is just 1/4 of it. Okay. Its diameter is about 3,500 kilometers. So, there is no atmosphere on the moon. It is very hot where the sunshine falls, and during the daytime the average surface temperature is more than 100 degrees Celsius. So, that means it is so hot. Okay. At night the temperature reduces, it falls to about minus 133 degrees Celsius. Alright. Now, what is the average distance of the moon from the earth? Okay, so, the average distance between the moon and the earth is about 3,84,400 kilometers. Now, moon's gravity, okay, it pulls the planet Earth towards it. So, because of the gravity that the moon has, Earth is always, it pulls the Earth towards it, and the gravity, its gravity is too weak to affect the whole planet Earth. However, it does make the water on Earth move. So, moon makes the water on Earth move, and that's how tides take place. Okay. It pulls the water on Earth towards it, causing high tides and low tides in seas and oceans. So, because of the gravity of the moon, okay, over water, it leads to high tides and low tides. Okay. So, moon has two types of movements, just like the way Earth has, rotation and revolution. Moon revolves around the Earth, and it takes about the moon about 27 days to make one trip around the Earth. The moon also rotates about its own axis, just like the way Earth rotates around its own axis and also around the sun. So, similarly, moon rotates around Earth and also on its own, it revolves around its own axis also. So, it completes one rotation in about 27 days. The same time it takes to complete one revolution. So, it completes one rotation as well as one revolution in 27 days, and that is the reason why we see the same side of the moon every day. Okay. So, does not mean that we are the side of the moon is changing like we have day and night, okay, because of the rotation of the Earth. That does not happen with the moon. Okay. We see the same side of the moon. Now, moon has different phases. This 27 days it leads to different types of phases of the moon. Okay. When we view the moon from the Earth, it looks different at different times. These varying appearances of the moon, they are known as the phases of the moon. Sometimes the moon looks full, okay. At other times it appears only like a slice, a very thin slice, okay, or looks and sometimes it's completely dark, you don't see the moon in the sky. However, the moon's shape, okay, does not change. It just looks that way from the Earth. Okay. So, the moon's shape does not change, it looks like that from the Earth. Okay. The moon, it reflects the light from the sun. As the moon is orbiting around the Earth, okay, the sun shines on different parts of the moon, and that is the reason why it causes the phases also, and it also causes that the illuminated part of the moon is visible from the Earth. So, on the part of the moon where the light of the sun falls, okay, during its rotation is when we can see the moon. Okay. That is how it works. All right. Now, we know you must have heard about eclipses. Okay. You must have heard about your parents and all saying that, oh, there is eclipse, do not go out and all. So, what are these eclipses? Now, as we all know, sun, it is the main source of our light. Okay. Whereas, the Earth and the moon, they are opaque objects, okay, which are made up of solid rocks. So, opaque object means an object which is through which nothing can pass. Okay. It is not transparent, it is not translucent, or light cannot pass through those objects. So, when the Earth and the moon, they come in the way of the sun's light. Okay. So, when the Earth and the moon, they come in between the sun's light, okay, they block the light, and hence what happens is when the light gets blocked, what happens, children? When the light gets blocked, shadow is casted. Okay. So, that casts a shadow. This event causes an eclipse to happen. So, what happens during a lunar eclipse? So, a lunar eclipse occurs on a full moon night. So, whenever there is a full moon night, okay, that time is when the lunar eclipse appears, and that time, okay, the Earth, it comes between the sun and the moon. If they are in the straight line, if the Earth, sun and the moon, they are in the same line, okay, and that time, okay, the Earth, so you have the sun on one side, you have the moon on the other side, and you have the Earth, okay, that comes in between the sun and the moon, and they all are in the straight line. The Earth blocks the light from reaching the moon. It blocks the sun's light from reaching the moon. Okay, so in other words, the earth casts a shadow on the moon, causing a lunar eclipse. Now, when the moon is completely in the shadow of the earth, it is called a total lunar eclipse. As the moon revolves around the earth, it moves away, and sometimes only a part of it is hidden by the shadow of the earth, and it is known as the partial lunar eclipse. So, there are two types of lunar eclipse. One, when the moon is completely in the shadow of the earth. So, it is completely covered, that is total lunar, and when it is partially covered, it is known as partial lunar eclipse. Now, this next one is the solar eclipse. Now, solar eclipse occurs when the moon that comes in between the earth and the sun, if they are in the straight line. Okay, so, if they are in the straight line, the moon, it blocks out the sunlight from reaching the earth. In other words, the moon casts a shadow on earth, which causes solar eclipse. If the sun is completely hidden, okay, it is called total solar eclipse. So, in the lunar eclipse, the moon is hidden, okay, because earth is coming between. However, in solar eclipse, what happens is the moon, okay, it comes in between the earth and the sun, and over here the moon blocks the sunlight from reaching the earth, and that is when the moon is casting a shadow on the earth and results in a solar eclipse. If the sun is completely hidden, it is total solar eclipse, and if it is partially hidden, then it is a partial solar eclipse. Okay, now, there are certain satellites which are sent to the universe, okay, to the space. Okay, these are known as the artificial satellites. Okay. Now, these artificial satellites, artificial means they are man-made, they are made by us, they are not natural. So, they are sent to the space in order to gather the information about the planets and in order to gather the information about all these celestial bodies. Okay. So, artificial satellites, they are designed for various purposes, such as they help us in the monitoring of the weather, forecasting of the weather, telecommunication, scientific research, and also for space exploration. All right. So, I hope children, now you know a little more about the outer space. Okay, so let us do a quick recap. Satellites, they are small heavenly bodies that revolve around the planets. Moon, it is the satellite of the earth. Varying appearances of the moon every night, they are called the different phases of the moon. When the earth and the moon come in the line of the sun. In Science, Book 5, Chapter 15, Natural Disasters. Hello children, how are you? I hope you all are doing well and studying well as well. So children, do you think that the nature is always calm and quiet? No, I don't think so. Yeah, there are certain times when the nature shows its anger. Yes, that's when natural disasters occur. So, what are these natural disasters is what we are going to talk about in this chapter. Okay. So, we are going to talk about what are the different disasters in nature: earthquake, volcano, tsunami, flood and drought. Okay. So, before we start, we face natural disasters, okay, like there is earthquake, sometimes there is tsunami, there is flood, there is drought, etc., which comes from time to time. So, as all of them are natural, we do not have any control over them, we cannot stop it from happening, it is bound to happen, okay, but we can control or reduce the damages that may happen because of this disasters. So, for example, okay, when tsunami occurred, yes, there were people who were trying to figure out that something like this is going to happen. Okay, they were trying to trace it and they were trying to find the location of it and all. But however, by the time they could locate it, okay, it had already come into that areas of the Asian continent. Yes, there are certain things that can be stopped. Not stopped, you cannot stop the disaster, but you can control them, control the damage, okay, which may happen because of these disasters. So, that is the reason why a lot of studies are being done by the disaster teams. Okay. They are also keeping their teams ready. So, in case such a disaster happens, they are able to send the forces for help. So, let's do this experimental learning first and identify the following natural disasters and write their names, okay? And then let's know about disasters which do occur in nature. So generally earth is a very safe place to live, okay? It is a very peaceful place. But sometimes, okay, disasters can occur and they can upset our lives. So we do not have any type of controls over these disasters or these calamities which happen naturally, okay? But we can always be alert, we can always take precautionary measures, and we can protect ourselves and our near and dear ones and also other people from these disasters. So volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, floods, tidal waves, they are all different types of disasters that take place in the nature. Let's talk about earthquake. So what happens during an earthquake? So we all know that there are plates under the earth's surface. Now these plates are known as the tectonic plates, and when these plates move, okay, or they shift, that's when the earthquake happens. So an earthquake happens when two blocks of the earth suddenly slip past one another, okay, when they suddenly slip past one another, they skip or they move, okay. The surface where they slip, that is known as the fault or the fault plane, okay. Now the location below the earth's surface where the earthquake starts, that is known as the hypocenter. Now this location, the location directly above the hypocenter on the surface of the earth, that is known as the epicenter, and that is where the earthquake has happened, okay. Now the largest or the main earthquake is called the main shock, and main shocks always have aftershocks that follow, okay. So this is how it looks. So the location where of the earth surface, okay, the location where the earthquake starts, that is known as the hypocenter, okay. The area or the location just above the hypocenter, it is known as the epicenter of that earthquake, okay, and the larger or main earthquake, it is known as the main shock, okay. So it is very important that these earthquakes are controlled, okay, or at least certain measures are taken in case an earthquake happens. So what are the causes? How does this earthquake happen, okay? So earth, it has technically got four major layers, okay, inner core, outer core, mantle, and there is crust, okay. So that's crust and the top of the mantle, they make a thin layer, that's a thin layer on the surface of a planet. But this layer is not all in one piece, okay. It is made up of many pieces, okay, or plates that we say. Now these pieces, okay, they keep moving slowly, okay. Now these pieces are moving slowly, okay, or these plates are moving slowly, sliding past one another, okay. They are just passing through one another in a motion, okay, and they are bumping into each other. Now these plates or these pieces, they are known as the tectonic plates. And their movement, okay, sometimes if it skips a movement or it slips past, okay, that's when the earthquake takes place, okay. Now earthquakes, they are recorded by instruments which are known as seismographs, and the earthquake's magnitude can be measured on a Richter scale. Now what are the effects of earthquake? If the earthquake happens, what are the effects of it? What happens after that? So earthquakes, they send shock waves, okay, which are strong enough to alter the surface of the earth, thrusting up cliffs, okay, opening great cracks into the ground. It can also cause great damage, like buildings can collapse. Not only buildings, any man-made structure apart from the building, that can also collapse, okay. It can cause broken power, okay, there can be short circuits, okay, gas lines can cause fire, okay, it causes landslides, snow avalanches, tsunamis, and also volcanic eruptions. So these are many effects of earthquake if it happens. Now what are the safety measures that we can take? So if you are inside your house, if an earthquake takes place, do not try to run out of the building, okay. You can duck inside your own house. So what you need to do is you need to get under a bed or a table, okay. That is because, okay, you have almirahs, or you have certain wall units and all. So when the earth shakes and when the earthquake happens, okay, they shake and they might fall on you. So in order to protect yourselves, okay, you need to hide under a bed or under, say, a table, so that those huge things don't fall on your head directly. So cover your head, face with the pillow, okay, and protect yourselves with the newspapers or blankets and all, okay, so that the debris don't fall on you. You should never, in case you still have to leave the building, okay, do not take the lifts or the elevators. You have to use the staircase, come what may, okay. You have to run, you have to go down the staircase, okay, and you have to stand in an open ground which is away from the building, so that the building does not fall on you. All right. As electricity may go off, if you take the lift, you may get stuck in the lift only. Okay. If you are outside, you must stay in a place at a same place till the earthquake stops. Do not stay near the walls or buildings or lamp posts or power poles, etc. Okay. Try to be safe. All right. So these are certain measures you can take. Now, in case of a volcano, okay, volcano, it is a landform, usually it is a mountain, okay, where molten rock, it erupts through the surface of the earth. Now, what are the effects of volcanic eruptions? So, generally in India and all, we don't live near the volcanic areas, but Japan and all, they have mountains which have lots of volcanic eruptions that keep happening, okay. So, volcanoes, they also trigger tsunamis. They trigger flash floods, they trigger earthquakes, mud flows, rock falls, okay. So buildings are also destroyed and people also become homeless. So people get killed, clouds of ash, okay, they cover plants, making them inedible, okay, because there is harmful gases emitting out of those volcanic eruptions, okay. That volcanic ash, it is in when they fall on the plants and all, those plants get all the harmful chemicals in them and they become inedible. So poisonous gases, they kill the people, they kill the animals. Dust, it causes pneumonia, it causes illnesses, okay. There are dark skies, there are severe winds and there are heavy rains also, okay, that may follow after the eruption for months, okay. So volcanoes, the people who live in volcanic area, volcano prone area, okay, they have to ensure that, you know, they rush to a safe place when there are signs of the volcano going to be erupted, okay. Next is the tsunami. Tsunami is nothing but a high tidal wave which travels at a speed of more than 800 km per hour. They also say that tsunami is nothing but the shifting of the plates under the sea, okay. It's like an underwater earthquake types, okay. So now it's the waves which come, okay, towards the land, okay, they are at a speed of over 800 km per hour. That means they are so fast, and not only that, they are very high and huge, okay. These storm waves, they rise from the sea and come rolling towards the shore, which causes destruction of life and also property in the area. Now, what are the causes of tsunami? The drop down and the upthrust of the earth's crust results in earthquake, okay. Like I already said, it is just like the way earthquakes happen, but earthquakes happen to earthquake is more towards the land cracking and all what we talk about. Yes, but obviously below the surface of the sea is also a area of land types, okay. There are plates under that also. So plates of the earth under that, which may cause a disruption, okay. Now, the vast majority of tsunamis result from earthquakes. A large scale undersea landslide also triggers tsunamis. So, undersea volcanic eruption, okay, of a certain degree can also result in tsunami. Now, flood and drought. Okay, what is a flood? Flood is when the water overflows, when there is a lot of rain in particular area and it rains for a lot many days, okay. Then the water gets filled in the rivers, in all the water bodies, and then it goes beyond control, and then it starts flowing into the cities and into the villages and all. So it overflows, okay. Well, flood is the overflow of the huge amount of water onto the normally dry land. Flood occurs when the overflowing water, it submerges the land and it also causes great floods. Okay. Now, floods, they are very damaging, they are devastating. Okay. They kill a lot of people are left homeless. Okay. They damage their houses, they damage their crops. Okay. The floods can be of two types. One is the natural flood. Okay. This can happen by overflow of the huge column of water. Okay, when lot of water overflows in it, okay, it can cause natural flood. Okay, it can happen from the rivers, from the lakes, from oceans, heavy rains, okay, of downpours, of cyclones, tsunamis, etc. Now, catastrophic floods. What is it? This happens due to unexpected events. Okay, like dam breaks. Okay, the dams are constructed. What if a dam breaks? Okay. That can lead to flood. Now, what are the causes of floods? It can be heavy rainfall, it can be heavy snow melting, it can be high tides, storms, cyclones, especially in the coastal areas, okay, and it can be deforestation also. Okay. Now, drought. What is a drought condition? That means there is no rain, okay, in a particular area for many years or many months. Okay. That is when that area is known as drought prone area. So, when a particular area receives no rain or less rain than normal for a long period of time, it is said to be affected by drought. Hot dry winds, very high temperature and evaporation of moisture from the ground, that can result in the condition of drought. Okay. So, let us